Welcome to Option Price Calculator. Thanks for installing our app. In this video, we're going to show you really quickly how to actually install the app into your Shopify theme. It's really easy. We'll go through some details and we'll show you how it's done. So first things first, I've opened the app and here I am on the dashboard. You can always get back to the dashboard by just clicking on the main app name here. We can see that the app has not yet been installed, and this is looking at whether or not the app has been installed on your published theme. That means that if you've installed the app on a non-published theme, this may still say not installed, even though it's installed on an unpublished theme. Now, obviously, when you go live with this needs to be installed on your published theme because that is the theme that your customers will see. When you first come into the app, this is what you will see. And this is just going to help you know or identify whether or not you've successfully installed the app into your theme. If you have, and this is green, and you're not seeing the calculator on a product page, most likely your issue is something else. Usually you haven't configured your calculator correctly. Before you'll ever see the app on a product page, you do need to make sure to complete this step. It's really easy to install. All we have to do is go ahead and click the install button in the top right, or you can go over to the left menu and click install here. Either way, we'll do the same thing. Once you land on this page, you can see that there's only one step to install it. What we need to do here is select the theme that you want to actually install the app into. Your active theme is your currently published theme. The other ones are just themes I have installed within my Shopify store, but they're not technically published. So I'm going to go ahead and install this onto this theme right here that is currently active, and you can see it's not installed in a few different places. The very first step here is you need to actually have a product added to Shopify. So before this can work, you need at least one product in your store. If you don't have at least one product, you can go ahead and click on Add Product to Shopify. This will take you to your list of products, and then of course you can add a product. Now, I've already added lots of products here, so you see them. But there is one important thing. In addition to having at least one product, your product needs to actually be configured to use a product template that we are installing the app on. This will be important on the next step when we install the app into a product template. So what I want to show you here is on each of your products, you need to make sure to assign the product to an appropriate theme. Over here in the bottom right, you're going to see your theme templates. Now, in this particular store, I only have one product theme, so this drop-down menu is disabled and I can't actually change it. But if you have customized your store a lot, you may have multiple product themes, and this drop-down will be activated and it will list each of your different product themes. So why this matters is on the next step, we're going to install the app block into a product theme, or template, I should say. That means that when we do that, your product needs to actually be associated with the same product template that we've installed the app into. If your product is associated with a different template than you install the app, you will not see the calculator. It's very important. Oftentimes we recommend, depending on how your products are configured, if you're using, for example, a whole bunch of variants and you need certain components to show up for some of your products and not necessarily for the option price calculator, we would recommend that you create a new or another product template specifically for using the calculator with. We'll show you how to do that in the next step really simply, but the key here is if you need to disable certain elements, and usually you do, you might want to have a secondary product template that you use specifically with the calculator. All right, so that's how you can change the product template. And that is step one completed. So the key is you have to have a product and it needs to be associated with a product template that we're going to now install the app onto. The next step, install the product page app block. All we need to do here is click on the big green button that says Add Product Page App Block. This will automatically add the option price calculator app block to your product page template, in particular to the default product page template. So as you see up here, this is my theme, Dawn. My product template, it says default product, and you see here, this is my only template. Now, if I do want to create a new template, it's really simple. You can just go create template. We can give it a new name, maybe option price calculator. We're going to clone the default template when we do this. Great. Now I have a secondary product page template. And so, like I said, if you're going to make some changes that you don't want to make across every single product, and you only want to make these changes for option price calculator products, you're going to want to have a new template. That's all you have to do it. And so I'm going to follow the rest of this using this particular new template I just created. So we'll select this one. And because I cloned the default product page template, it's already added my app block right here. Now, you may have noticed when I first clicked add product page app block, we automatically added this section or this app block for you. It was really easy. So you didn't have to do anything. If you ever want to add the app block manually, you just go ahead and click add block, and you will see the app block right here, option price calculator. You can add it as an app block here, or you can add it as a section. There it is. So in both cases, it works. Now, when you add it as a section, it's going to add underneath all of this stuff as a big section down here. Okay, so it's going to look a lot different on the page if you add it as a section compared to how it looks if you add it in the product information block up here. Now, your template may vary, and the control of how you add this may be a little bit different, but generally speaking, this is all you have to do. It's really simple. The app block has been added. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to drag this up because I want to change the positioning of this. And so now we've moved this a little bit higher. Now, this right here is actually the app. There is already a calculator that's built and tied to this product. That's why we're seeing this appear right here. But if you haven't already associated a product with a calculator, likely you're not going to see all this detail. You might see a message that just says this is where the calculator will appear. Now, I mentioned there's some sections you probably don't want to have. And those are things like the quantity section. The calculator comes with its own quantity block. You don't have to use that block, but we recommend you do. And if you are using the app version of a quantity selector, you're not going to want it on your product page as well. So we're going to probably want to remove this section. The other thing you're going to want to remove is the product variance. When option price calculator creates a new variant, or when someone adds a configuration of your product to cart, a variant will be created behind the scenes. Those variants will show up inside of your variant picker. There are some methods in the app that are built in to hide option price calculator variants for you automatically. However, it will not work on every single theme. Every theme is different, and this is a fairly generic method to try to hide it in a lot of cases, but it will not work all the time. So, generally speaking, we recommend you hide this section. All of the options that you might configure here, you should be configuring in the app instead. Without going into too much detail, there is the ability for you to still use default Shopify options like this with the calculator. But in addition to doing that, you likely will need some custom scripts to hide the option price calculator created variants from those options. We have help docs to help you with that. But for the most part, right here at a very basic level, what we want you to do is just go ahead and hide or remove the variant picker. You don't need it. The other thing you don't need is price. That's going to be shown to you in the calculator. So let's go ahead and remove that. Finally, you don't need buy buttons. The calculator has its own add to cart button. These ones will not work. So we're going to go ahead and hide those as well. Now, I've removed a bunch of things and I am ready. This product page is fully configured and ready to work. So the final thing you just saw me do and I didn't explain is I saved it. Make sure to save it. Once you've saved it, this is done. If you forget to save this, then the app block will not be added to a section and this step is not completed properly. Once you've saved it, you can go ahead and close the page, and we're back here inside the app. It still says not installed. Don't worry, all you have to do is click refresh. All right, we can see that the app block has been installed successfully. Final piece, this one's a lot easier. Let's install the app block onto the cart page. Let's go ahead and click the button. And just like that, the app block has been automatically added to the cart page. Now, in the case of the cart page, there is no configuration that's required. You just need to make sure that the app block is on this page and job is done. So here it is here. And just like the other pages, you can add a block. There it is. Or you can add a section. And there it is. We don't need it. We only want it on here once. So let's go ahead and save. Now we've added the app block to the cart page. And we're ready to go ahead and click refresh here. Look at that. We are all done. Our next step is to actually create a calculator from either a template or from scratch. So that's all you have to do to install it into your JSON template. Now, you might have an old style liquid template. So let's go ahead and show you how to install it onto a liquid template. So I'll use this Brooklyn one. You can see it's not installed. So the process to install it is really easy. Just go ahead and click install. There it is. We've successfully installed the app. What that does behind the scenes is it uses some of Shopify's special features for these obsolete or these old style liquid type templates. So it adds some of the scripts to your pages behind the scenes so they can load when those pages load. Now, the final step to install into a liquid theme is you need to follow step 2, and you can do it in a couple of different ways. You can either add this code that's shown right here directly to a product page description. That's one method to do it. The other way is you can add this to a product template. Now, this is a little bit harder because you have to actually edit template code and add it in, but this allows you to more easily or precisely control where the calculator appears on your product page. So depending on the configuration of your liquid template, this will allow you to control where it is more specifically, but it can be difficult. Some liquid templates are a spider web of files, and you likely will have difficulty finding the right place to put this. So we highly recommend you just go ahead and put this into your product page description. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And then we'll really quickly try to show you the basics of adding it to a product template manually. So to add it to a product description, method 1, all we're going to do is go ahead and copy this code. And in case you're not very good with the computer, select it. I just left mouse clicked and dragged. You have a couple of choices. If you're on a PC, you can right click and go copy. You can also go Control C. If you're on a Mac, you're going to do an Apple C. Same thing, right click or 2-finger click on a Mac and you can go to copy. You'll see the shortcut command right here. Either way, once we've copied it, you're ready to go. Now what we want to do is go to a product. I'll jump over to products. This is the one we're working with, so we'll open this one. And what I'm going to do is I need to add it to the product page description. Word of caution, we don't want to add it here. This is text. You can't paste HTML code into the text editor and expect it to work. What you have to do is click this Show HTML button, and now I can paste the code here. Now it's pasting and it will be rendered as HTML. Notice you don't see that anymore. All right, so that is the entirety of the step of adding the calculator code to a product page manually, where you have a liquid template and you just want to really easily get the calculator on the page without having to fiddle with templates and modifying code in your theme. Now, let's go ahead and show you roughly what you would do if you do need to modify code. So what I'm going to do is open up a new tab and actually put the calculator back in it so we can look at the instructions at the same time. So let's just jump over to install, and we'll select our Brooklyn theme. And here's our steps. So the first thing, it says option A is search for product-template.liquid in your code editor and then paste the code in the appropriate place. let's go ahead and try doing that. So I'm going to go to my template editor and I'm going to go to my online store first. So online store, we can leave that page. And this theme is not technically live. It's the Brooklyn theme. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the ellipse here and then go to edit code. Here I am. Now, what this said is I want to search for product-template. Now, here's the key you need to know. Every template is different. There is absolutely no guarantee that these combination of words will work for your template. It's likely to work because this tends to be the format that most themes follow. So, this is probably how you're going to find it, but there's no guarantee this is going to work. So I found it here, product-template. Now here I am, a whole bunch of code. This is where things get a little bit difficult. You need to paste the code somewhere on this page. We don't know exactly where, all right? So it says paste the code where you want the calculator to display. So typically things that you're gonna do to try to help you find it is the product form. I just happen to have this in front of me. This is typically where your add to cart buttons are going to be. So it's going to be somewhere around the product form. It might not be here. It might be above it. It might be below it. It might be in the middle of it. It's hard to know exactly where. Some other things that you might do is look for things like your quantity selector, maybe your variant picker. Those are the types of things that you're probably going to want to add the calculator nearby. So if you can find those elements on the page here, you could probably find a place that you should paste the code. And I'll just go ahead and actually, unfortunately, I copied the name of this. So let's go back here and copy the code. And all I would do is paste it. That would be effectively all I have to do. Now, there are some advanced customizations I'm not going to get into much here, but notice the metadata. If you do want to use metadata with a manually installed calculator, you will have to add some parameters here. This involves using Liquid, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, so that's how you install into the product-template. Now, the other method that we talk about here is to search for just product.liquid. So this is just basically us saying that, hey, sometimes people don't call this product-template, they call it product.liquid. Now, I'll show you a bit of a trick here while we do this. Let's look for product. Here's a product.liquid page. And you may find that you're able to paste the code directly in here somewhere. That's not the code, but paste the code there anyway. But most of the time, you're going to have a product.liquid page, and then you're going to have some other reference to some other file. And so in the previous example, we look for product-template. And in fact, that's what's happening here. This liquid page actually contains a whole bunch of sections, and one of those sections is the product-template page. So what you're going to look for, if you can't find product-template, you're going to look for product.liquid, and then from here you need to find some references to tell you where the actual page you need to paste the code is. It's possible that this is the page, but generally speaking, you're going to have a section, and it's going to be this other section that you need to paste the code in. And so notice there's some comments up here. This happens most of the time. It'll say something like the contents of the product.liquid template can be found in. And this is the page template telling you need to actually go to the product-template liquid page to paste the code or to find it. Now, that's because of the way my template is set up. But the key I'm trying to tell you here is if you are going to product.liquid, you're probably going to find some reference like this pointing to some other page that might not be product-template. It might be something else, okay? We can't really instruct here because every theme is different, and particularly liquid themes are a big jumbled mess of random developers making them in different ways. So it's going to be a little bit up to you there. That is how you install the calculator into both a liquid as well as a JSON-based template. Once you've installed it, you'll see that you get check marks here. And if we go back to our John theme, you can see that the check marks are here. And finally, if we go back to our dashboard, you will see now that the app has been successfully installed. One final piece to know, we've installed the app. However, until we actually add a calculator and we associate that calculator with some products, you will not see anything on your product pages. So watch our next video where we teach you how to set up a calculator and associate that calculator with your products. and then you'll be able to see the calculator on your product pages.